Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 7, The Domino Effect, with your host, Link Speaker.
And Crypto Kai. In today's episode, we have a lot to cover, so strap in while we dive into the recent announcement of different institutions buying into Chainlink and the domino effect that starts the future. So let's dive right in.
So, Crypto Kai, what is your opinion right now on everything that we're seeing with these huge institutions buying into Chainlink? We're going to cover some of these major ones here in the episode, but how exciting is it to see that huge institutions globally are finally starting to see the light with blockchain and crypto?
I think this is just the beginning. We're going to touch on a couple of bigger announcements here very soon, but with these bigger institutions buying in and the adoption of Chainlink, I think this is the beginning that we've kind of been talking about in past episodes of this mass adoption phase starting in that trickle down effect, kind of, rainfall down the gutter, if you kind of like that analogy. And the little pieces are going to start flowing down the gutter with it, and picking up different things along the way, whether that's retail stores, other banks around the United States or the EU, etc. Start bringing Chainlink on board, kind of like Citibank has announced in past episodes that we talked about. I think it's really just the beginning of different investment firms and these different just businesses all over, no matter what it is, starting to realize crypto is kind of the new thing, the new wave. I don't know.
I
What do you think?
I think it's, to your point, just super exciting, right? As many of you guys have probably heard, last week we had a large announcement that Grayscale had launched their own Chainlink trust. And even now, moving forward to this week, we see that Grayscale had added another 39,000 Chainlink tokens, almost doubling their position. So we're starting to see all these big institutions, Grayscale, Morgan Stanley, Morgan Stanley entering into potential negotiations to buy BitHum, like wanting to get into the game. It's just the start, right? These are just the first tipping dominoes after, like, say, Elon Musk. If you want to look at the adoption domino scale of Elon Musk saying, hey, we're going to start accepting purchases for crypto as one of the third dominoes. Now we're starting to see 4, 5, 6, 7 dominoes starting to tip over now, right? And that's the big exciting part to me, because when these big institutions start FOMOing in, they don't FOMO in with a few $1,000,000. they FOMO in with hundreds of millions to billions of dollars. So just furthering the domino effect that is crypto.
I think that one of those points that you touched on about Elon Musk and the recent news as of, today, March 24th, accepting Bitcoin for the payment of Teslas, which was, rumored a while ago. He talked about it. I think that this is kind of where people and businesses and institutions are really going to see, like, oh, hey, like, this isn't just an investment opportunity. We can actually accept this for transactions and, I guess, build our own Bitcoin stacks, or, do whatever they want with it.
Well,
It opens the doors to a lot.
And to your point too, it's like it also holds the value to so much better than the dollar. Elon Musk has to see the money that's sitting in Tesla's and SpaceX's accounts that is in USD and say, oh, hey, this is being printed by the trillions. I'm losing purchasing power with this. And on the flip side, you look at an asset like Bitcoin, and it's held the value. Not only has it held the value, but it's averaged at over 200% gains per year, every year, year over year. They have to be looking at those differences. He has to be on those balance sheets, and that's what my thought process is he has to be that smart to see how good of an investment that is.
Yeah, and I think that we would be closed-minded if we were to say that he's the only one. Elon Musk is, as most people I would assume know, has taken over that position from Jeff Bezos as the richest man in the world. So he's obviously doing a lot of things right with his investment strategies
Exactly.
in different businesses. So he does not only see this as an investment opportunity, but probably as a huge business opportunity for Tesla. And I think that we would be very naive to assume that other large business owners, like possibly Bill Gates, different large companies like that, Microsoft, Apple, won't start following suit soon. I mean, I don't see there being like there's not much of a difference between buying a Tesla and buying some Apple product eventually. I mean, there's still both in that technology type of industry.
Agreed. I mean, and especially to kind of your point, it's these big companies. They're not going to stay out of the game. The companies that the companies that like Apple and Google and some of these massive corporations that have large amounts of money, when they see their competitors starting to get a clear advantage from using blockchain technology, from using smart contracts, from using Chainlink as an Oracle service for data delivery on a global scale, right? And gaining massive market share, they're not going to stay out of the game. I just wonder, like, where is that one big tipping domino that just sends the rest of the ones down the domino line into a massive frenzy? Where do you see that at? Do you see that maybe being like the Fed finally launching the Fed coin, and that's the federal government, finally endorsing cryptocurrency to the fullest? Like, do you see where that huge domino is?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really like, in my opinion, lies in the Fed coin. I know that's definitely a huge step in that. I mean, force mass adoption almost when governments start to impose their own crypto. But like, as far as different businesses and institutions looking at, you know, something like Tesla, kind of being a main focus here, and kind of breaking that down further with the use of something like Chainlink and the smart contracts, I see a huge domino when you start getting these businesses like realizing that they can use Chainlink smart contracts to do their own internal transactions between their factories and like the manufacturers, because they have to buy these parts and pieces to manufacture these different products. And when you have smart contracts that can make this secure and have each order go through validated, I think that's where it becomes a huge monumental movement in what Chainlink, but crypto as a whole, take part in literally the everyday lives of, I mean, everyone at that point. If it gets to the point where these large businesses start to realize that it can be used for every single little transaction to validate and secure.
So you're saying when they finally do their research, all of them, and see what these businesses are gaining by using these resources, that's the domino.
Yes.
I can see that. I can see that for sure. But my big thing on that point is you have to have the right big businesses kind of being the leaders. They have to be the leaders and test this technology out first. And that's what we're seeing with Google using Chainlink as a partnership. You start looking at all these huge companies that have come out in support of Chainlink and of DeFi as a whole. It's starting. That's the really exciting part. And in other recent news too, the Bloomberg terminal has added Chainlink as well as 5 other cryptocurrencies. I know ADA was one of those as well. So that's exciting. I mean, this is a platform that allows professional traders to monitor and analyze real-time financial market data. So this is being broadcasted. These cryptocurrencies are being broadcasted all over the world to these traders. So for me, that's another big domino when starting to think about, hey, when are the people all over the world, when are they going to start trading, buying, using cryptocurrencies? And this is where it kind of starts, is traders wanting to get into the game. What do you think, Crypto Kai? I mean, do you think that Bloomberg Terminal finally saying, hey, we want cryptocurrency on here so all of our traders can see this is a big deal?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a big deal. I mean, it's just showing that there's that further institutional interest in crypto as a whole. But now, I mean, with Chainlink and then 5 other cryptos coming on board as well, it shows this interest in DeFi, which is kind of our motto for this year's bull run almost. I mean, it is really, and it's showing that these are becoming more diversified into things other than Bitcoin. Now we're looking at things like Ethereum and different ways that institutional investors could possibly get their hands into more things, get the better use out of it, as traders, and making potential gains or whatever they see to what they want to do with these cryptos. We're getting it into the eyes of more people, and especially kind of being important that they're professional traders. It gives more, I guess, authenticity to these coins when you're looking at it from a professional standpoint as well.
That's definitely true, and it's them. It's really them showing an interest, the market showing an interest in DeFi. It's, to your point, it's now further than Bitcoin. A lot of people, when they think cryptocurrency, oh, is that like Bitcoin? Well, yeah, Bitcoin's there, but it's a lot more than Bitcoin, and the fact that the big traders and the day traders and now that anyone that uses the Bloomberg terminal will start seeing is oh, crypto is a lot more than just Bitcoin, and that education piece is big. So I'm excited for that news. That the news is actually pretty exciting. Kind of moving on here to, aside from the Chainlink news, there's also large institutional news in the space. In the last week, there's been news that we had kind of talked about here is Morgan Stanley, a multinational investment bank. Everyone knows who they are, Morgan Stanley Chase, huge, massive company. They're interested in getting into the crypto space now, with entering into negotiations with South Korean crypto exchange BitHum. That's big. Crypto Kai, what's kind of your opinion on that?
I mean, when you start seeing large, just multinational investment banks getting into things like BitHum, goes to show that, one, they see a high potential in cryptocurrency, but not only that, but the exchange. They want to be a part of this money transfer back and forth. I mean, that's what banks do, right? When you see something like Morgan Stanley, it kind of goes to show, I mean, like, where can this lead? What do they want to do with it? What's their plans with this? What's their plans with BitHum? There has to be some sort of interest in it, especially when they're looking to spend. I mean, it's rumored, obviously, Morgan Stanley's considering to spend somewhere between 254 to $441 million to get this stake in BitHum. So when you're talking about that type of money, they're willing to lay that down into crypto, giving that validity that the value in crypto is there and growing every single day.
Agreed. I mean, especially when you look at the fact that Morgan Stanley, this is just a smaller division. This is their investment division. Imagine when the entire company is like, hey, we see the real value in cryptocurrency. We're now putting in, say, $500 billion of our investment funds into this. Or, oh, hey, we're encouraging our holders to get into that. Like, those are the days, those are the dominoes that I'm excited for, right? I think we're a long time from those. That might even be the 2025 bull cycle. But this is just one more domino that's continuing to fall. That's exciting. So, did you see the news that Fidelity files for a BTC exchange traded fund?
I did. That's exciting news. I mean, it kind of goes along with some of this other, institutional news that we're seeing, especially with somewhere like Fidelity. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, as growing up and watching more TV back when I was younger, I mean, I used to see Fidelity commercials fairly often. A company like this, an institution that is now bringing Bitcoin on an exchange in an exchange traded fund, it speaks a lot of volume with how fast something like this could spread through the right word of mouth from Fidelity.
Well, and imagine they start telling their investors that, hey, we're now recommending more than the 5% that we're already recommending as diversification in crypto, because they already announced that they were telling their investors 5%, and they say now we recommend 20%. Just that difference on such a big company that has so many different investors and clients' money that they manage is massive, and that's just one more domino that will continue to fall in this mass adoption effect, right? That's super exciting to me.
You kind of look at getting a piece of your normal, I guess, stocks. You kind of get a piece of that market cap if they do kind of what you said about, oh no, we recommend now instead of 5%, 20%. I mean, this could move the market cap of crypto as a whole massively if Fidelity just says the right things. I mean, the right things in the world of crypto, obviously, but if they say changing up these percentages, it can really move and create a lot of investment power and change in the world of crypto. I mean, we could see some alts skyrocket, but like you said, this can, I mean, I think that is a 2025 bull run type of move that we could potentially see from not only Fidelity but a lot of other investment firms.
Well, exactly. And kind of to your point, they have to be careful right now. You have to think about it from their standpoint. As a Fidelity, they run so many different divisions, they have so many different investments, so many different accounts, right? They're this huge firm. They can't, even if their CEO and as some of their board members say, "Hey, we love crypto," they have to be risk. They have to have some level of risk tolerance, right? Right now in the 2021 bull run, we're not in that huge mass adoption phase yet. We are still super early, and they know they can make a lot of money investing a relatively small amount right now, right? And that's kind of where, to me, these next few dominoes start falling is these big firms need to start seeing someone lead. And that's where Elon Musk comes in right now. Elon Musk, he's one of my idols, but the big thing that I love that he's doing is, I'm sure you saw Crypto Kai at his announcement that they'll be keeping all the Bitcoins from all the transactions from Tesla and also running their own Bitcoin node. How exciting is that?
That's super exciting. I mean, keeping all the Bitcoin from these transactions is amazing to see. I mean, it's just a smart business move. I mean, he's now exchanging his fiat that is, being inflated massively per year. He now is exchanging that for something that is getting 200% gains. It's a no-brainer in the business world, obviously, and then as well for us, looking into what Elon Musk is doing, it's very exciting to see that he sees a potential in holding cryptocurrencies. So I don't know about you, but I mean, what do you think? What is your takeaway from him holding this and from him saying, yeah, no, I'm not spending one single fraction of a Bitcoin that we make from these Tesla transactions?
Well, it's exactly that. Your last little sentence there, he made it super clear that he was not spending the Bitcoin that they were intaking. He's one of the richest. If well, him and Bezos are flipping back and forth. Let's just call him the richest guy in the world. He's the richest guy in the world, has more money than you can possibly ever want, right? And here's this guy saying, "Oh, hey, I want to make it super clear to the entire world that this new asset we're taking in, we're not spending." It shows that he sees the future of cryptocurrency. That's to me. That's what it shows, and that's the super exciting part. He's talked multiple times about, hey, on Mars we'll be using cryptocurrency. He's came out in support of it. He's also sent other tweets that are not in support of it. I think that was his lawyers telling him, hey, you should probably stop pumping these cryptocurrencies. But I think it really shows that he sees the future. When you start seeing these corporations that they see that there is no reason not to use Chainlink and smart contracts, that is when we just start seeing stuff go absolutely bananas. To kind of some of our previous points here in the show, I mean, guys, when we're talking about the mass adoption and the future that's coming, we have to realize that the dominoes have already started. They already started. Like this is something that's already, like, if you guys can imagine with me this spiral domino case that's falling over one at a time, right? We're like halfway through it. We already have all these huge corporations done. I mean, they are all announcing support for these things. I think the domino effect is really speeding up. What do you think, Crypto Kai?
Yeah, I would agree. Aside from Chainlink, I know we're a Chainlink centered show here, but we also have some other favorites in the space. For example, one that we've talked about in a couple episodes ago, MobiPay. I mean, I think that that kind of highlights the real mass adoption and these dominoes starting to fall in the right place. I mean, MobiPay is a very small coin right now. Really just starting to see its life here in the crypto space. But you have a project that already has 500 plus retail partners. And we're talking about things like Amazon, eBay, Target, different restaurants. And I mean, that's a huge domino that has already fallen, like you've mentioned. I mean, these dominoes have already fallen. All it is at this point is these DeFi projects going live. I think once these DeFi projects go live, it's an eye opener. I mean, we already know all of us in the space that are invested into these different projects, we know what's going to happen. We see the future, but you have these people on the outside that just are looking down and they see cryptocurrency as Bitcoin, and that's not the case. And when it opens up into DeFi, and they realize, oh man, I mean, we have the new PayPal here that's just completely putting PayPal itself to shame. I mean, it's going to really kind of turn the eyes of the average person, average in quotes, but you're just everyday consumer that's doesn't know much about crypto. It's going to turn heads and be like, okay, hey, maybe I should be looking on how I can use this Mobi wallet, how I can use different things in the space. I mean, I don't know about you, but I see those type of things like that's the dominoes that are falling, and the next domino is this DeFi, like these DeFi projects going live.
100%. I mean, it's the DeFi projects. Your point is perfect on the DeFi projects going live. It's because all these platforms, this staking coming live, then you have these passive APYs that these people can use. Then you also have these flash loan services. And I think the big domino here for us, for really rapidly increasing, is another thing that we've talked about, is we have to have gas prices solved. It has to be, right? They have to scale it. And that is a big domino that is currently being worked on by Arbitrum. We have confirmed Chainlink is now live on their mainnet. They are using Chainlink. Now we just need Ethereum, the entire Ethereum network, to start being integrated with this Chainlink Arbitrum combo. And to me, that's one massive domino. I mean, if you can solve the gas problem issue on the Ethereum network, and then the entire world is starting to adopt crypto, and then they have no reason not to use Ethereum, holy crap. That to me is a big one. And I'm really excited to see these projects and them going live, to your point. But the main thing I'm excited about is the mass adoption that starts taking place and how life changing it is for the world. That's the main thing I'm excited about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I see crypto as, not only a way that my life is going to change through, my investment opportunities and different things like that, but I see it as completely reshaping the way that we use technology and the way that we use currency, and especially with the way that, you and I have expressed that we feel about, fiat and especially the US dollar and how inflation is basically killing it. I mean, I see it as an opportunity to, just revamp and save the world economy at this point. I mean, we've seen multiple other fiats that struggle and have inflation issues, and I mean, this is the way to save it. I mean, it's basically gold standard 2.0 is how I see it. I mean, gold was backed by gold. I mean, that's the only backing behind it. Crypto is backed by crypto. There's a set amount. Once it's gone, it's gone. So I mean, it's really the next step to getting not only the United States but the world into the next phase of its life is where I see it, and that comes along with helping so many people.
Your point of the next phase is perfect. I mean, we're talking about the next phase in DeFi and kind of the next phase of the market. And kind of speaking of the market, let's kind of move on to that as the next step of the show, right? We've kind of talked about some of the really big dominoes we're excited about, some of the dominoes we're talking about in the future. Now, we're recording this show on March 24th. I want to kind of break down the market for our listeners, right? So we're starting to look at Bitcoin as, because it drives the market regardless of how much we care, or how much we dislike Bitcoin percentage moves as altcoiners, right? Let's just kind of talk about some key resistance levels and key support levels that we've been seeing here. Right now, let's go here. So as a high today, we saw a high of 57,300 or so. 350 is what my chart's showing me. And we've dropped all the way down to a daily low of 51.5. Some of the key support levels that I am seeing here in Bitcoin is this 52,000 mark. If we break this 52,000 mark, we could start seeing a drop all the way down into that 65.5 mark. That's our next support level after we break this 52 mark. Crypto Kai, what do you think if we break this mark? What do you think that says for Chainlink? What do you think price points we see on that? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, 52 is definitely, at least right now, looking like a fairly strong support. We've come through it. I see about 1, 2, 4, maybe 5 times now, and we've come back up. So it's a fairly strong support here. But if we go under, I mean, at the time of recording, it's pretty late in the night in Eastern time for us. We're EU's about to start waking up. So, I mean, a lot can happen here. So if we go under, I see Bitcoin potentially falling to the 48.6 range, I believe is where that support is, right?
46.5.
46.5. And if we hit that, I mean, I see Chainlink currently right now is sitting at 24.9 as what Coinbase is saying. I mean, we could see Chainlink fall, I would say close to around $20 if we start going to that 46.5 mark, maybe even a little bit under $20 Chainlink. And from there, I mean, if that 46.5 mark does not hold and we fall through it to that 50-day support, I believe is what it is at 36,000 dollar Bitcoin.
Yep.
I mean, we could see, oh man, what do you think? $15 Chainlink potentially?
13 to 15, yeah. If we see 13 to $15 Chainlink again, oh my gosh, like I will be buying as much as I can.
That's where I bought in. That's my average for my stack, which is crazy to think about.
$13 to $15. It's like, and we both know, as investors and traders, how good of a deal that is, especially long term when we look at the long term potential Chainlink has. So if we hit that level again, guys, don't be scared. Use this, if you are an investor and a trader, use this as an opportunity not only to learn about the market, but to continue to stack your stacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you guys are listening to our show regularly, you guys should feel relatively educated on Chainlink and some of the cryptocurrencies that we're telling you about. If you feel scared right now, all you have to do is more research. Honestly. Like, the more research I do on Chainlink, the more I want to buy Chainlink. If that's not the feeling that you feel, then just keep reading all that you can on the project and ask questions in the community. What would you kind of like to talk about from here, Crypto Kai? I know we're a little over 30 minutes in the show. Is there anything that you would like to kind of cover here at the end?
Yeah, kind of touching on what you were talking about, if you're scared right now, kind of building on this education, I know we kind of mentioned patterns in the past, right? We like to talk about how bull runs kind of relate, and looking back at the 2017 bull run, if you want to kind of educate yourself on that patterns in history possibly repeating itself, and looking at the dips that we saw in that bull run to give yourself kind of, I guess, expectations. Obviously, nothing is set in stone. You can't just say, oh, it's going to be an exact replication of 2017. But if you're looking at, a range, we were seeing on those massive pullbacks in 2017 bull run, we were seeing between 30 all the way up to 42% pullbacks. So when you look at that from when Chainlink first started its drop here, we'd want to look and see what that could potentially be out of, you know, a 40% pullback if we were matching some of the larger ones in 2017. And I mean, we could see that $15 Chainlink is right at the 40% pullback from when this pullback really started happening at $26. So it's not out of the question to see $15 Chainlink again in, you know, the short term here.
Agreed. And if we do, I mean, that's a phenomenal point for a lot of entry points for anyone that was struggling to pull the trigger on it. So,
Yeah, I also think that it's also, I mean, if we go that low, it could kind of push institutions to buy in as well, or you know, like Grayscale increasing their Chainlink holding. I mean, we could see things like Grayscale also increasing, you know, another 39,000 Chainlink, different things like that. I mean, when you get that low, um, institutions and big whales can't ignore it for long.
no, I mean, institutions and whales have to be informed at least somewhat on what DeFi is. And if they know about DeFi, they they can't know about DeFi and not know about Chainlink because Chainlink powers DeFi. So I think it's only really a matter of time before we start seeing these huge institutions not only FOMOing into Bitcoin, but FOMOing into Chainlink. So guys, thank you so much for listening through to the episode. As always, please feel free to follow us on our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, which is at Linkcentric, at Linkcentric. Crypto Kai, what would you like to end the show on?
Yeah, guys, just remember, if you're watching through this dip, do research, practice some strong hands, and just kind of enjoy the rides. We're here for the long term.
Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week.